jet-lagged and I'm a little tired, but I'm ready. Now, I don't know what the focus of this panel is going to be, because we can talk about anything we want. So, I guess the best way to start this for all of you is I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Garry Chalk. I play the voice of Optimus Prime, or I have played the voice of Optimus Prime, one of 4, 3 of which were Canadian, which is odd, I know, but it's true. David Kay, myself, and Peter Cullen are all from Canada, and the only one who was not Canadian was Neil Kaplan, who did one of the prelay ones, and that was, he's from San Francisco, I think, or he lives in San Francisco. Anyway, I've been a voiceover performer for about 30 years. I think the very first cartoon I ever did was Hiawatha for Nickelodeon. It was Kenner Classics, and I actually saw it on eBay somewhere for sale, or it's on there somewhere. But that was the very first cartoon I did, and I went, wow, I kind of like this this career. It's kind of fun, you know. I had no idea what it was about. And to give you an idea of what it was like back then, which was about 1981, we used to record on tape. I know it's odd. But we used to record on tape, and it was a long and involved process. And I played Hiawatha and Mujikiwis and about 3 or 4 characters on this cartoon, and it was quite exciting. And I remember when we were doing what they call the ADR, and you all are familiar with what ADR is, automatic dialogue replacement or additional dialogue replacement. And these days they have computers, and you just go, it goes beep, 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 talk, right? And you dub the language of, you know, they'll be in Japanese or something, and you dub it into English. And it's very easy. In those days, they used to do it on film, and they'd run a projector, and it would show up on the screen like this. And they'd have a black line on this side and a black line on this side. And you'd watch the film, and the black lines would go like this. And as soon as they touched, you'd start talking. Well, it was a real trip to do it. Now it's like easy. It's like, you know, when I was a kid, we had to walk uphill both ways to school. And it was like that. It was very, very difficult. Since then, I've probably done a few thousand cartoons, many series. Some of them I think you'd be familiar with. I was He-Man for a while. It was Lieutenant Stone and Pathfinder and all those on G.I. Joe and G.I. Joe Extreme, and Knights of Justice, Littlest Pet Shop, Extreme Dinosaurs, Sonic the Hedgehog. The list goes on. There's like tons of them. I can't remember them all, but I know that there's a lot of them out there, and I had the great opportunity to do one of the very first CGI cartoons, which was Reboot. And Reboot was the very first computer-generated image cartoon for television. And you know, Pixar goes on about, you know, Toy Story. Oh, we've made all these innovations. Ah! We're ripping them out in 3 weeks. We're ripping out an episode in 3 weeks. It's all CGI. And they're thinking, we're breaking new ground. No. Our guys have been doing it. We did it first, and we did it faster. And it's funny, you know, because when you look at Reboot right now, the way it was the very first cartoon, and there was a lot of technical issues that they had to deal with, and one of them was making the feet touch the ground. It was very difficult, and then they got into shadowing and the 3D animation, and it was really quite iconic, and I was quite blessed to be able to be a part of that. I played several characters in that series. My favorite one being, I don't know if you remember, anybody remember Reboot? Put the button, I don't want to push the button. Every time I put the button, bad at it. And Mega Mike will kill us. But we did that show for several years, and then Beast Wars came out. And I really wasn't, you know, all that familiar with the Transformers. I used to do all the commercials for Transformers Generation 2. I don't know if you remember, but I remember that. I'm watching, you know, on YouTube or somewhere they had some of the old commercials from the G1, G2 days. And I'm looking, wait a minute, I did those commercials. There's Transformers Generation 2, battery sold separately. Some required. all those. And so that was my first exposure to the Transformers, and then they came and asked me to come and read for the series, and I said, okay. And I read for all these different parts. I read for Rat Trap and read for actually it was between me and David for Megatron. I was going to do Megatron, but then they said, well, you know, we kind of like this Optimus guy. And I said, Optimus, okay, cool. I don't know who it is, but cool. You know, I mean, you got to figure. I was when I was a kid, Quick Draw McGraw was the big thing, you know, and Huckleberry Hound and all those kind of cartoons. And so I really wasn't up on it, and I never realized how big a deal it was. So I just did it, and then went to a convention, and it was just like Galaxy Quest, you know, when he comes in. You come walking into the room, and there's all these people, and I swear to God, the guy who was handling it, it was for the two guys who were here earlier. They brought me in and introduced to some of the fans, and there were about 3 or 4 girls sitting at a table over here, and they all went, I went, what's the matter? It was kind of weird. But then when I saw Galaxy Quest, I went, hey, wait a minute, they're the same girls. So it's been crazy. So since that time, as I say, we've done a lot of iconic shows and a lot of different cartoon characters, but I've also been doing movies for over 30 years, and I was in Stargate for several years, and in Cold Squad, and Poltergeist, and, you know, lots of shows. Very excited about a new show coming up called Alcatraz, which is J.J. Abrams' new show, the guy who wrote Lost. And this is a very, very cool show, because it takes place in Alcatraz in 1963. And what happens is 300 prisoners from Alcatraz in 1963 all of a sudden just disappear. And then in the present day, they start showing up. They haven't aged, and they're still committing the same crimes. They've all escaped. So there's some weird plot. We don't know what it is yet, but it's very cool. Sam Neill's in it, and Johnny Coyne is in it, and a bunch of different actors and actresses. And Jorge, the guy who was the fat guy in Lost, Jorge Rodriguez or something, I think that's his name. But he's in it. He plays the doctor. It's very cool. So so it's been quite a career in the last 30 or so years, and it's that's brought me here today to say hi to all of you people. And I guess the best way to start this panel to do something is, what is it that you want? What do you want to get out of this panel? What is it that you're most interested in? What would you like to know? I think I can answer almost any question, except, what was the question? Oh yeah, someone asked me, in episode 7 of the first season of Beast Wars, you had a dialogue. It was a very touching scene between you and Rat Trap. Or no, you and Cheetor, and he had said something, and you had said, but that's okay, Cheetor, and I just want to know what was going through your head.
Well, gee,
Give me a minute. You know? Because I had no idea. I mean, good God, what the hell are you going to do? I mean, you come up with a question and it just comes out from nowhere. And, you know, I have a hard time remembering what happened last week, much less than what happened a decade ago. So. Anyway, how about we kick it off and ask me a question? Oh, that's good. Yes, here we go.
I've got one. What was your initial reaction to not only finding out that in Robots in Disguise you would not be Optimus, but then in Armada you were brought back? Those two instances.
Oh, well,
how did that affect you?
What happened with that is they did Robots in Disguise down in the States. Mm-hmm. I can't remember the state, but I seem to recall that it was a prelay show, or not a prelay show, it was an ADR show. Mm-hmm. And we weren't informed of what happened. They were trying to do something different with Robots in Disguise down south. And you know, kudos to Neil for doing that, because I didn't know who he was, and I had met him at an anime convention a few years ago in Calgary, and we chatted about it. So it only went that one time, and I don't know why. And then when they brought me back for Armada, I did say initially, no, I don't want to come back for Armada. You guys didn't want us for Robots in Disguise. What are you coming back here for? And then we said, nah, what the hell. So David Kay and I decided that we were going to come back and do Armada, and then we went on to do Cybertron and what was the other one?
Energon.
Huh? Energon. That's did that one, and it was fine. I personally, I got to tell you the truth, I hate doing ADR on those shows, and the deal with me with the ADR shows was that I developed a character for Primal, for Optimus Primal, and I loved that character. It was a great character, and the writing was great, and the storytelling was great. I thought it was a well-written, well-put-together series, except for season 3, which was kind of, you know, they're all a bunch of whiners and all. He didn't do anything, and Optimus spent most of his time contemplating his navel. Well, it's true. Is it not? Is it not true? The keys to the future lie buried in the past. What the hell does that mean?
Drop your keys
and Cheetor and all the rest are all going after each other, but I like that. And when we went to do the prelay, it was a different character. They wanted a different character, and I said, okay. So they wanted to be more like the Peter Cullen version. You know, they wanted more tougher, more, you know, this. I went, okay. But the problem is when you hear you know, and they speak really fast in phrases like this, and now you're trying to make it fit into that same rhythm. Cybertron, or Jetfire, Ironhide, this way, let's go, right away. You know, it was hard to make a character and create a character and also fit it within those tight guidelines of the ADR. And so what you got was sort of 50%. You didn't get 100% because I have my own rhythms and my own you know, thought processes. And when you hear the beep, 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 it's just fit the words in the space. You know? And a lot of people didn't like it. I found because the original creator of G1, you know, Peter Cullen, when Peter Cullen did G1, it was prelay. So he got to use his rhythms and his acting beats. I had to make it fit in that, and it wasn't a good process, not nearly as good as Primal. So that's my reaction to that. It wasn't really a bad deal. I mean, I'd already moved on to a lot of other different shows, and we just, you know, live and learn. Next question. Yes, sir.
What was the character everybody on when you made Beast Wars? Everybody seemed to agree on it.
Which one?
What was the most hated character between voice actors on Beast Wars?
On Beast Wars? The most hated character?
I mean, like the character nobody really liked, even the voice actor who did them possibly.
Oh, you mean like personally?
I mean, like as in, oh, this is just the most annoying voice or transformer to do in the series.
Oh, you mean like Waspinator?
At least he had a short lifespan, right?
Oh no, Waspinator lives on forever.
Each episode you only do so much of because it is
Yeah.
problem solved.
Oh, it don't feel so good. I can't even do it, but I don't know how he does it. It's a weird voice, but that was one voice that used to drive me out of my mind. But it's the most popular voice ever. But I couldn't listen to it for a long, long time. I was going, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you.
That's probably why he died so much then.
Huh?
That's probably why he died every time.
He died all the time, but he still kept coming back for more. Poor guy. Okay, that I thought was probably the most annoying voice for me personally. Everybody loves Waspinator. I mean, I love him too, but that's the one that drove me the craziest. My favorite character was Rampage. Is it Rampage or Ravage? Ravage was and I shall be queen. Yes, my queen. What's that? Inferno. Is that what his name was?
Yes.
Inferno.
Yeah.
Yes, my queen. Jimmy Burns. Jim Burns played that character. And Jim Burns is, well, his hometown's around here somewhere in St. Louis, Missouri. And he's a wonderful blues man and a great character. But of all the characters, I love Cheetor, I love Rat Trap. Rat Trap was a great character. Rhinox. What's Silverbolt? That was another one that I quite liked. And Tarantulas and Pterosaur. They were all great characters. Yes.
What did you think about them bringing Tigerhawk onto the show to bring Blue Man Kuma back after missing so many episodes and practically kind of season?
Oh, as the tiger. Yeah. Oh no, I thought that was it was great. Blue's still going strong.
I was upset they wrote him off the show and they brought him back for the last 3 episodes as Tigerhawk.
Yeah.
So he was on the show. They wrote him off, and he's like, "Oh, when am I coming back?" And then they brought him back for the last.
Well, I think that what happens in a situation like that, I've had situations like that. Well, I've got that with Voltron Force. You know, Voltron, I show up every once in a while, then I disappear, and I go, "Where am I?" And then I show up, and then I disappear, and I'm, "Well, what's going on?" You know, I think I only ended up doing like 7 episodes or 8 episodes of that show. And it's just the writers get into a pattern, or they get into a story arc. And the story arc will just follow a certain few characters. And this character, just like in real life, this character sort of fades away, but it will come back. You know, it's always there. It was nothing, it had nothing to do with the character or the performance. It's just the way the story arcs go. Sometimes you can't be in every show. And in some cases, that's a blessing. You know, you can, especially in live action, like when you're doing a television series. Like I'm doing a series right now called The Killing. You heard of the new series of The Killing? And I play the lead girl's boss, Lieutenant Oakes, on that. And I show up for 2 or 3 scenes an episode and go, and that's kind of nice. You know, I have some free time because it's a huge time commitment. When you're doing television series or even cartoon series. You're there every day, 12, 14 hours a day. And that can be exhausting after a while. I mean, it's good money and everything. Still, you get tired, you pay the price. And there was a time, Scotty can tell you, and Ian and a few of the others, when we were like the only voice guys around, that we worked literally 7 days a week, every single day, doing 2 shows a day, different series. Like we had like 7, 8 different series going. And do that for several months, and you turn into an idiot. You know, you're just like, what? What is it now? I can't do this anymore. It's just like, it's very tiring. I don't know if you've ever tried to do any voiceover stuff, but go and do that 8 hours a day. And it's exhausting, and it's hard on your voice. And we were doing it 7 days a week. So now it's kind of nice, you know, you work a little bit, take some time off. Yes?
When you were doing that many, were there exercises or something you did to keep your voice in check so you didn't lose it? Was there certain precautions?
The thing about your voice is you can burn your voice out in 10 minutes if you do it wrong. And what a lot of people do is they try and concentrate their voices right up here in the throat and in their neck. And what happens is your vocal cords get strained. And if you try and, like if I tried to talk like this all day long, I'm done. It's the same with, you know, those guys who do that type of voice all day long, do that, and your voice is gone. But you have to bring it from here. You have to support it, you have to exercise it, and there are lots of warm-up exercises. Basically, it's keep it relaxed. The more tense you get, the more tightened up you get up here and in here, the more difficult it is to maintain a good voice quality. And what happens is one of the things that happens is you'll get nodes, little bumps on your vocal cords, which is death for a voiceover person, because once you get it removed, you can't talk or sing for 2 years. Also, sing every single day. Singing is the greatest thing in the world to keep your voice in shape, keep your vocal cords in shape. Let's see what else. Staying within your range. I mean, some have a great range, but there are a lot of people. It's just, I guess because I come from both sides. I come from the voiceover side and also come from the singer side. I do a lot of singing and playing, and I always make sure that I never go too high or too low. You have to stay in your range, in your comfortable range. Because you'll watch a lot of inexperienced performers, they all think they're Geddy Lee or something, you know, and they get up there, and they sing way up high like this. It doesn't last very long, and it sounds horrible. It sounds like you're killing a cat. but it's because they just can't support it. It's what you can support. If you can support your voice in a lot of different ranges, then that's fine. But if you can't, then you're just doing yourself a disservice, and your career becomes very, very short. So that's, yes. I'm sorry?
Do you play an instrument?
Yeah, I play guitar, piano. I'm a big blues guy. And I play everything from Dylan to Devo. I do things like, I play Fight for Fighting, Jack Johnson, Muddy Waters, Willie Dixon and that kind of thing, and I also do Dylan songs. And they're all different. I do all different kinds because I was primarily a singer at the beginning. And most voiceover people are pretty good singers, you know. And that's another thing, is educating your voice. Because as far as, excuse me, and keep it back. As far as voicing goes, you have to have a really good ear to hear the difference between this, 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 this. There are 5 different ways of saying it, but you have to be able to hear the difference between. Because in voice acting, what happens is you have a situation or a scene that has a certain geographical aspect to it. Like I'm sitting here and you're sitting there, or the person who's sitting way back there It's a different volume if you're talking to a person in the back of the room than if you're talking to someone right here. And so you have to see that image in your mind. And even if it's, you know, a spaceship hurtling down towards the Earth with rockets going and blah, blah, blah. What are we doing? I don't know. Well, oh my God, we got bad guys on the fourth side. Ah! You know, you got all that stuff going on. But you have to make it work within that. And all your physical actions and all your emotional actions have to be absolutely clear. Because if they're not, once they animate your voice, what happens is you record here, they animate, and it goes, and it flattens it out, so it sounds real. Right? Now everybody can do a funny voice. Right? Everybody can do, you know, a couple of phrases, or, you know, to infinity and beyond. You know, they can do that. But can you do Shakespeare in it and make it believable? That's the key. So your acting is about 75% of it. Your voicing is about 25%. I mean, if you have a great voice and a voice that has a lot of range, and you have the acting skills, holy moly, you got a career that's going to last forever. Right? But that's what it is, because it's like all the characters that you listen to or watch on the cartoon, they have their own reality. Right? It's an unreal situation, like, you know, like Ren and Stimpy. Oh, Ren, what are we going to do? We're going to take over the world. You know, and Pinky and the Brain and all those. But it's real for them. And in order for us as the audience to care about what they're doing, it has to be real for us too. So if you hear a lie, or you hear someone who is not doing a very good job, you go, meh. Sounds kind of lame. You know, I'm not really in there. Not really caring about this. I'm not going to watch it anymore. Because it's the characters that draw you in. And even though they're wacky characters, they're still playing in a real place and playing in a real world. It's a different world, but it's a real world. And so that's why I get a kick out of what's the show? The Rift, Tripping the Rift. Oh. You seen that, Tripping the Rift? I love that show. The characters in it are terrific. Not to mention the baby's pretty hot. But the characters are great. And the fat guy with the tentacles and the three eyes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is that what his name is? Yeah. Very funny guy. But you look at that character and you're looking at him and you're going, okay, he's got tentacles and he's got three eyes, but he's a pretty funny guy. And you forget that he's got tentacles and three eyes. You just see him as this character that you're endeared to, right? And that's what it's about. So it's playing the reality of those characters to make it work. Next question. Yes?
In Armada, I don't know if I've ever seen, but like the first season, when Optimus transforms, it sounds like they recorded you saying transform once, and you just kept playing it whenever you transformed.
I'm sorry, again?
In Armada,
yes.
When Optimus transformed, it sounded like they just recorded you saying transform once, and you just kept playing that whenever you transformed.
No, I just say it every time.
Yeah.
You mean it was something, combine, 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 you know, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to do it every time because it was always different. And the timing was different, so you couldn't really just, you know, take one and fit it into the
I
other.
mean, like just like when you just like transform, like robots and truck, like that.
Be like, Transformers, transform.
Yeah.
That
It's not
one.
like you were.
No, I'd have to do it every show. Because the timing was different on everything. It would be nice if they had a stock one, and then I would just go in and go, yeah, transform. Oh, we done? Okay, see ya. That would be great. You know, it's like Krusty, you know, don't go away, we'll be right back, see ya. Krusty, we haven't turned it on yet. You know, from Simpsons. Remember Krusty used to do all the bumpers. And he just go, yeah, don't go away, we'll be back in a minute. Hey, this is Krusty, we'll be right back. Hey, okay, see ya. And he'd walk out the door. Wait, we haven't turned on the tape yet. But you know, that's the lazy man's way. But unfortunately, we couldn't do that because the way they were recorded originally, in the original Japanese track, it's always different. So the timing is always different. So if I said transform for this British show, it would be different for the next show. So you'd have to say it. It would sound the same, but it'd be different timing. Yes?
I was going to ask you, since we're talking about reused footage or reused dialogue, when you did the New Adventures of He-Man, did they have you say by the power of Eternia every time they would do that, or was that part stock footage?
By the power of Eternia was every time.
It was every time, okay.
I have a power, yeah, every time.
They had John Irwin, they just did him once, and then they just, oh, we're going to use all those cells in the voice.
But it sounds like it too, right?
Did anyone else have the problem when they watched that part? If they close their eyes, did they see Optimal Optimus holding the sword up in their, you know, you close your eyes and you're like, yep, that's Optimal Optimus with the gray skull.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because the New Adventures of He-Man was recorded about 5 years before Optimal Optimus.
But I mean,
But there would be people going, wait a minute, Optimus sounds like He-Man. See.
But I saw Beast Wars before I saw the He-Man.
Oh, did you?
I was over at his house. I'm like, I'm in the kitchen, and I'm like, did Optimal Optimus just take the power of Eternia? I'm like, what?
Oh yeah, no, it's funny if you see it, you know,
Yeah.
opposite. But I recorded He-Man long before I did Optimus.
It would be funny though.
And then in the new Adventures of He-Man, I was too old to play He-Man. they made me Man-at-Arms,
Yep.
which was, so now you'll hear, now when you watch the new Adventures of He-Man, it was going, you know, Man-at-Arms sounds like He-Man. What's going on? But it's, you know, we try our best to, you know, keep everything different. But yeah, it's quite fun. Yes, I don't know, everybody's taking it in. Nobody's got any questions over here. Yes, you have a question.
Do you feel like the job of the voiceover is disappearing since so many things like the Disney movies and Nickelodeon movies are using real life actors for voices and not voice actors for voices?
Oh, you mean like stunt casting, especially for Disney and Pixar and things like that. Stunt casting I've never understood, and the voiceover community in Los Angeles and in Vancouver, we all feel the same way. Who cares? Who cares if they're playing a part? I mean, the one that drove me crazy was Bruce Willis doing Over the Hedge. He played the raccoon in Over the Hedge. It was okay, but you know, there are a ton of voiceovers guys who could have done an incredible job on that character and made that character work. I mean, he's supposed to be the driver of the show, and it was the little squirrel that's, you know, with the cheese whiz up the nose who drove that show. I mean, they were great. And the turtle was, you know, they were all great. And I remember Bruce Willis in an interview said, I can't believe it. They made me do this line 51 times. It drove me crazy 51 times. It's so hard, this voice work. I said, no, it's not. You suck! Sorry, no. If it took us 51 takes to do a line, we'd be fired.
Right.
The most we would ever get, except for, you know, there was a couple of shows that we did where we would do like 10 takes for a line, and that was pushing. It would be like the most like 3 or 4 takes for a line, just to, you know, to get the thing right. It would because it would drive you crazy if you had to do 51 takes per line or 40 takes per line. You never get the show done. You know, we record a show in like 3 hours, or you know, feature will take all day to record. But 41 takes a line. You figure a line takes 30 seconds or 20 seconds to do a line. Multiply it by 41 and you've got, 20 minutes for one line. You have 200 lines to do in the show. 200 times, that's 400 minutes. 400 recorded minutes. Holy moly, that's a lot of editing.
Yeah.
And a lot of recording. And so, yeah, I have never been a big proponent of stunt casting because the kids who are watching the show could care less. They don't even know who these voices are. All they see is the characters. It's for the parents to take the kids. It's just a marketing thing for parents who take the kids. It has nothing to do with kids. And there are a lot of big name voice actors. The Frank Welker who shows up on parts. Billy West, Maurice LaMarche, all these guys who do voices day in, day out in LA and work for scale. They never get a look in. They always hire the A-list actors, the richest actors in Hollywood, always get hired, and they get paid these stupid salaries. Like $5, $10 million, or $20 million like for Shrek. $20 million for Cameron Diaz to do this part. There are 100 voice actors in LA who could do the show. Not only could they do it quicker, but they could do it better. And they would only get the regular scale rate, which is, in America, is about $500. And so you do it, someone would get $500 or $1,000 to do that show. And yet, they'll pay this person $20 million for cachet, for marketability to get the parents to take the kids so the parents can enjoy it as well. And it's always been a sticking point in the voiceover world, stunt casting. We're not really cool with it. We hate it. Because we can't get it. I worked my whole life in voiceover, do thousands of cartoons, and this person, who's already richer than God, is going to make $20 million in one shot. It's so easy. I don't even have to get changed. Because they've never done it before, right?
Is there any kind of like a rep or some kind of, I guess, maybe not a union, I guess it would be the word, but some kind of
organization?
Yeah.
No, we just have our union. We don't really have an organization of voice actors. I mean, there's the Voice Over Heroes. It's on the net and behind the scenes, but no, we're just it's a very small group, believe it or not. There are not a lot of voiceover performers like in Vancouver. There's about 200, but the ones who do most of the work is probably about maybe 30. In Los Angeles, there's about 3,000, and there's about less than 200, probably about 50 or 60, who do most of the animation that you see. I mean, if you actually take a look and just go through the credits, you'll see, the Yardley Smiths, the Frank Welkers, the Peter Cullens, the who else is in there? Sue Blue, all these different guys and guys and gals, and there's probably about 50 of them that you will see that will show up in absolutely every cartoon that's ever produced. Because it's a skill that it's hard to acquire. Because it's a very specific thing. It's to be able to sit and open the script and sit down there and bring it to life right now, right away. There's no rehearsal time. There's no go home and study it and get all the acting beats and the timing. It's right now, and it takes a long time to get it, and some people have a very difficult time reading. You got to be a really good reader. Anyway, next, yes.
Is there any piece of work you've done that you wish you could have redone it when you hear it later? And if so, was there one that kind of sticks out to you?
If there was a,
If you heard something that you've done a while ago and you wish you could redo it, has there been any time like that? And what would stick out to you as an example of that?
Hiawatha,
Hiawatha.
because it was my very first one. And when I listen to it, I go, cringe a little bit. But the other ones, I don't think there's anything I would do different. I would probably, in the Armada and Energon, I would have probably got more into the Cullen range. I was very stubborn about it. I don't want to do it like Peter Cullen, because that's Peter Cullen's thing. I want to do it like Primal. And he said, well, we don't want Primal. And I said, okay. So I wished I would have been a little less stubborn than the way that they actually wanted it. I could have done it. I mean, it was just a silly pride thing that got in my ego. You know, that happens. Yes?
While you were doing the voices, was it hard to stay in character?
I'm sorry?
Like, was it hard to stay in character while you were doing the voices?
Was it hard to stay in character? No, not really. You get your foundation for your character, and once you get the character set, it's just like, you know, like you and I sitting here talking today. You get into it and you're there. I just think of characters that I used to do. I don't remember in Sonic the Hedgehog, I used to do this character Grounder. And Grounder was, let's go, I'm not stupid. I just lost my head for a moment. I was just sitting there scratched, and the guy came along, he was so fast, I didn't know what to do. And it just cannot, I cannot get it out of my head. You know, I start doing it, and I'm doing it. It's like Hack in Reboot. It's just a part of me. I have all these little voices in my head. And they just never let go. But, well, you know, have you ever seen Scott McNeil? I don't know how many of you have seen Scott McNeil when he shows up. Man, oh man. That boy's got a lot of voices in his head. And I've been working with Scotty for 23 years in different shows. We have done tons of shows. And I think I've heard his real voice. 10 times. But it's hard to get because, you know, because in this kind of a situation, you're always on, you know, you're always working and playing it up and that. And at work, of course, when we're at work, we're doing our voices. So, but every once in a while, when you get into it, you know, we're just sitting there having lunch, and then I'll go, oh wait, that's what you sound like. That's who you are. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I love Scott. He's a wonderful guy, wonderful actor. Yes, sir.
Can I ask, as a voice actor, you know, if it's an actor you see on TV or in the movie all the time, you know, you're recognized instantly when they're walking around. But if you go into a restaurant somewhere like that, or a grocery store, and you use your voice, does somebody ever pick up on that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
I've had that happen. Well, actually several times I've had it. What's happened is I sat in a restaurant. Where the hell was I? Somewhere, it was like Denny's or something, and this guy came up to me and goes, oh no, that happened at one time, phone, that happened one time. It was in Denny's, the guy, I know that voice, I've heard you before, you are... You're him. I said, I guess so. Yeah. And he goes, I knew it was you. I know that voice. I can hear that voice. And then one time I took my car in to get it serviced, and I had to take the bus home. And I got on the bus, and this guy walked. I was talking to this lady, and "You're Optimus!" this big black guy came up, and he was on the bus, and he was in the Navy, and he was just coming from the Navy. And he said, "You're Optimus! You're Optimus, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "I know that voice. I don't know the faces, but I know the voice, and you are that guy." Yes, I am. "Well, my God, it's so nice to be. You signed my book." Take the bus home. Well, of course, that started because the rest of the people on the bus go, "I thought you looked familiar. You're that guy on that show." And I go, and now it's like, it's like this. Yeah, and the questions come, and the questions come. And it's just, it's fun. But very rarely I get recognized for the voice. I get recognized my face a lot for different TV shows and movies and that. But the voice, once in a while, someone will come up. "I know that voice. I know you. I know you." It's okay. We get sort of upset. But I think the funniest one was I was in Mobile, Alabama, shooting a little film there at the college, and I went into. They have there's sub places where they have the firemen. The firemen run these sub stores, and they donate part of it to charity. It's called, I don't know what it's called. It's a fireman's red hot sub sandwiches. And I walked in and I said, "Well, I gotta go grab me a sub." So I walked in, and the girl walked up and said, "Yes, sir, can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'd like a sub, please." And she said, "Okay." And then she shook my arm, she walked away, and then you see her, she was talking to her workmates. Walk over. "Are you that fella in the movies?" And I said, "Yes." "I knew it was you. I won't say nothing, but my friend and I, we have a bet across the room over there. And she said that she was in the movie. Now, she said that's not the same guy. Why is he doing it on Mobile? What the hell is he doing at Mobile?" "So you are that guy in that movie." "I knew it was you. I won't go say nothing, but I won the bet. Thank you very much." And then the other girl, she's standing at the side and she goes, but it's so funny. I mean, at home, you go into cafes and you do whatever the hell it is you do. Nobody takes your blind notice. But in America, it's different. In America, people watch TV. That's all they do. No, they watch TV because it seems to happen more here. I mean, I used to go to Las Vegas. The girls who carry out the drinks and the change girls, they all seem to watch Lifetime television. I was like the king of Lifetime. I had like 50 movies on Lifetime. And they all come up and they say, "You're in Stand Against Fear, you're in this, you're in that." I've seen you all the time on Lifetime. Man, every time I turn on Lifetime, there you are. Yeah. No, it happens, but it's just the way it goes. It's kind of funny.
You can tell you enjoy it.
Yeah. Anything else? Yes.
How was it working with Richard Dean Anderson in SG-1?
Oh, it's a struggle. Such a drug. The drug problem of it was the mood swings, the violence. No, Richard Dean. I've been working with Richard Dean for over 20 years. So I worked with him the first time. MacGyver way back when, and it was a sort of a standing joke in MacGyver is that every Christmas, the show that came about 3 weeks before Christmas in December, the first week of December, they'd always give me a guest starring role on MacGyver, which I thought was kind of cool, nice Christmas bonus. He says, no, I said, well, why do you bring me in here? He said, we like having you around before Christmas, it's kind of fun. So they'd give me a show every Christmas. And that was very nice. And then when they brought Stargate, they said, well, we're doing this new show called Stargate, and just check it out. And I said, oh, do I have a part in it? Well, we're looking for something for you. Year 1, year 2, year 3, nothing. No auditions. And I'd see Michael Greenberg and Richard. I said, well, what the hell's going on? I thought you guys were going to bring me in. No, we're just looking for the right part. Season 4 comes out. We got this part for you. I said, it took you long enough. No, it's a great part. And I said, okay, how's your Russian? I said, come on. No, we want you to play this Russian. And I said, well, okay. Can you speak Russian? And I said, no. You'll learn. Come on. So they brought this fellow, Sasha, who's a Moscow film director, who worked as an actor in Vancouver, named Sasha. And he came and, because all my scenes were in Russia, the first episode. So I'm going, so I got to speak Russian? And he says, yeah. So everything is, вы свободны, подождите меня за дверью. Пошли. And I'm going, I don't even know how to pronounce those words. They've got consonants I never heard of. And this guy was very strict. It had to be exactly right. And so we spent 3 weeks learning phonetically the Russian and getting the acting beats for the Russian for these scenes in the first episode of Stargate. And the guy, after 3 weeks, he says, you know, it's really weird, but you sound just like Stalin. And I said, what? He said, you sound like the real Stalin, like Joseph Stalin. You sound just like him. You have the same Georgian accent. You have the same vocal quality. It's really eerie. Well, that's great. So it's working. Oh yeah, no, it's great. It's great. So I go to shoot the first episode, and my Russian is hot. I'm in there. Yeah, come on. Yeah, yes, a lublu. Let's go. And walk in, and Peter DeLuise, who was directing the episode, turns around and said, we're not going to have enough time. We have to cut. We just need the last 2 lines of that scene. And I said, you bastards! I just worked for 3 weeks trying to get this scene right, and you're telling me that it's cut? I'm doing it. He says, well, you can do it. We're not going to. Come on, Peter, that's not fair. And says, I worked really hard on this. And he goes, okay. So we did the whole scene, all the scenes in Russian. We used the last 3 lines. But it started, and I ended up going on for a few years on Stargate. So they were always good to me. And Richard was just, he's very funny, you know, but he has a very wry sense of humor. And really, really fun guy to work with. When you first get there, you wonder, you go, oh, okay, what are we doing? But you know, when you see it on screen, it's working. And he just goes and goes and goes. He's retired now, but at that time we used to have a really great time. And people who didn't know how his humor works, how he crack at you, would get kind of not put off, but sort of discombobulated.
So his co-stars for the first season, pretty much.
Huh?
His co-stars for the first season.
Yeah.
Didn't know about him except through MacGyver.
Yeah. But they worked out great. Amanda was fantastic, and Don Davis, bless him, he worked as Dana Elkar's stand-in on MacGyver way back when. So Dana and Don and Richard had a history for years. And so they got along like a house of fire. Everybody in that show, it was the greatest set to work on because everybody knew it. And, you know, we've all been working together for so many years. It was like there was no real struggles, no real, you know, like ego battles or anything. It was just like, yeah, we're doing a show, and let's just do it. And it was really fun. And Chris Judge is an absolute hoot. Used to go play golf with him and work with him on occasion. Michael Shanks, the same. They're all really, really nice people. And Amanda, heaven on a stick. Any other questions? Yes. Yes. A girl!
They do exist.
And I apologize for this question in advance, but when you are in an annoying situation, like say you're at the airport and your flight's canceled and you're dealing with bad customer service, do you ever get the urge to slip into the primal voice or the human voice to get your way?
Well, I've done it. So the question is, when I get into a situation at the airport, do I pull out the primal voice and say, "You don't know who I am"? No, I don't do that. I'm actually pretty good. Sometimes it just gets a little crazy. Like yesterday, there was a guy sitting next to me on the plane, and he absolutely reeked. He didn't bathe. It smelled like he'd been on the plane for a couple of days. And you know, it was hot, and I'm sitting there going, please turn the fan, turn the fan. I'll be good, I won't say anything, I said, I paid an extra $41 for this. I think for some unknown reason, because my elbow was touching his elbow, he didn't like it. So he got up and moved to another seat. Man, I'm so sorry. No, I never, the only time I've ever gotten, you know, like that is I was on a plane flying to Las Vegas, and the plane was full. And there was a woman, no offense, but there was this woman, she must have weighed about 400 pounds, 380, somewhere around there. But the seats on those little planes are really small. And her stomach was right here against the seat ahead. And she was squished, she couldn't get in. You had to lift up the bar and she had to slide it. And she couldn't walk down the aisle, she had to go down sideways down the aisle. Well, my seat is right here. And her butt was on this half of my seat. I mean, no, I can't say anything bad about it, but this half of my seat. So I only had half a seat to sit on. But there was a bulkhead, right? So, like a bulkhead. So there was two seats and an empty space, and I guess they put luggage or something like that there. So I sat on the side of my seat like this, facing the fuselage wall. And this little fella comes up to me and he goes, "Excuse me, sir, you cannot sit sideways on the seat." And I said, "Well, I'm really," and I pulled him to the side. I said, "Look, right." You see that gal who's sitting beside me? She takes up the whole seat. And my seat. I have nowhere to sit. I don't want to sit on her and squish it. But you can't. DOT forbids you to sit sideways on the seat. Forbids you, it forbids you. And I said, "Man, then just find me another seat." "There is no other seat. The plane is full, sir." And I said, well, then I'm sitting sideways. Too freaking bad. And it was, I don't know know if he got in trouble, but he was really upset. Like he was upset. He was a little, you know, the flight attendant guy, and he was really upset because I was sitting sideways. Mind you, the girl beside me was completely oblivious. No, she doesn't. She didn't look left or right or nothing. She just, and it was. I can't describe it. It was a hill of flesh. She sat in there just. Like Jabba the Hutt. It can't be mean. It can't be, you know, it's not her fault. I mean, I don't know. But she can't help being large. It's just the most unfortunate situation where the seats are so small. You know, and I'm a big fat guy myself, so. But anyway, anything you want to know about how you do this stuff, how you get into, for a career, how you pursue it?
Actually, I don't have a question on that. I just wanted to ask, what were your thoughts the first time you read the script where they killed your character off at SG-1?
When they killed my character off, I went, at least I've got a glorious death. And it was the last season, and I was in the Coriolis and the jet and the Racketeer, and this glorious firing out the Ori and getting annihilated. But they said, well, no, that's not true. You're not dead. And I said, well, I don't see myself coming back anytime soon. And he said, no, you may have escaped with Brad in the life pods, because there were several life pods escaped. And I said, would my character abandon this ship? They said, no, he wouldn't. So I died, but that's okay because the series died too. I mean, that's the way it goes. But it was such a nice the thing on YouTube. They have this great thing where they do the theme music for Hunt for Red October. They put all the clips of my character on there, and the rock and the ship blowing up. It was a glorious death. I don't mind that. It's immortal. It's on there forever. It's great. Yes.
How much did Sue Blue use G1 to influence you to direct Beast Wars and the other Transformers shows you've worked on when she's been the voice director, or did she just say we're going to start fresh?
For Beast Wars, start fresh. New characters, new direction, and I thought it was quite cool the way she did it. Yes.
How did you establish yourself within the industry, within the voice acting or acting industries?
How did I establish how did I get started and get rocking and rolling?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I started my voice career doing corporate videos for the government. I did a lot of very sexy videos. One was called Leave Reporting in the Superannuation System. The other one was called Pension Benefits. The other one was called How to Assemble and Disassemble a FNC-1 semi-automatic rifle. Just wonderful titles. And so I did a lot of voice for the government and training films and videos for the government in Ottawa. And then I was doing there was a show called Alien Star Lost, and I used to play, and they called me in to play the alien voices. I had no idea. But I went in and gave them, you know, Hungarian, and they seemed to like that, or a Hungarian kind of thing, and they went with that. And I thought, well, maybe there's something to this. And then the Hiawatha came along, and then when I came to Vancouver, or back to Vancouver, the first thing that I read for was a thing called Tech Force, and didn't go. I didn't get it, so okay. And then Barbie and the Rockers, one of the first animated Barbie shows, called Barbie and the Rockers. And I ended up playing a couple of voices on there. And the woman who was the director of that, or producer of that from Geek Animation said, you know, we like you. We want you to come and read for this. So I ended up reading for Captain Nintendo. and I did Captain Nintendo, and it seemed like every time I did a show, they would say, well, we have this other show, so we did Captain Nintendo, and Kissy Fur, and Dream Patrol, and He-Man, and G.I. Joe, and all these other shows just kept coming from Deke, and they just liked what I did, I guess. But that's what I did, and I put a voiceover tape together. And this is what, you know, talking to my friend Candace over here, who's a very talented artist, is also an aspiring voice artist and wants to put that voice tape together. Still hasn't done it yet, really. Not the finished product. And that's the thing. The whole thing about it is to practice your voices, put your strongest voices on a tape, not more than 3 minutes long, and farm it out, you know, to the different agencies, and see if you can get an agent who will take you on. And I was fortunate in that my first voice agent, Gail Murphy, was not really interested in voice work because there didn't seem to be any money in it until I started getting these shows, and then some of our other agency members started getting shows, and all of a sudden it became a huge industry, which made our agency very wealthy and made a lot of us very wealthy. So she started pursuing that on a big way, and farming our tapes out to internationally, and marketing our people internationally, and we started to get shows from England and from France and from Australia and from the United States and Canada. It's not just the United States, we just go all over the place. I mean, Jean Chalopin, who did a lot of the, like Tintin and things like that, and Asterix and Obelix, you know, we did all those shows, and they're all from France, but they show them on American TV, but they're all come from France. The other one, the cat one, there's this one about a cat, a crazy cat. It'll come to me, but it's also from France as well. Yes?
How hard was it not to laugh in some of the totally ridiculous scripts that came through, like the one in Beast Wars where Rhinox defeats Megatron by farting? How hard was it not to laugh when you're reading scripts like that?
You know, farting is a personal thing. I've had my, you know, my moments in the studio where at the end of a season on one show, I was presented with a can of Florient, which is called Febreze, because it used to get crazy, you know. People would be laughing and killing themselves and rolling about on the floor and trying to get a straight face. And sometimes it was very, very difficult. I don't know if you have all heard the Coca-Cola story. The Coca-Cola story is in, I was doing a show with Sonic the Hedgehog. And I had to, or no, not Sonic the Hedgehog, Captain Zed in the Dream Patrol. And I had to make a big, huge belch. So I drank a can of Coke. And I said, okay, I'm ready. And I went, whoa, like this. And all of a sudden, all this Coca-Cola just went, whoa. Wait. It was like, it was wrapped in an amniotic sac. And it made this ball, and it hit my script. And I went, and never left a mark on my script. And Phil Hayes, who was playing one of the characters, looks over and he goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Ian Corlett is going, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. The assistant in the office is falling on the floor, and all you can hear is, ah! Ah! They're all howling. Right? And I went, wow, that was amazing. We had to stop for like 15 minutes for people to get composed. They would do one of these. Nobody could look at me, so I had to sort of turn away, because if they were saying their lines and they're looking at their lines and they looked up, they started killing themselves laughing. The poor girl who was making all the takes and recording with the script assistant, she could not talk for 10 minutes. Could not talk. She said, "Line 2, I can't do this." But it's never happened again. It only happened that one time, and it's never happened again. It was, and I think it's on tape somewhere. Yes, Gannon. What?
Time.
Oh, time. Holy moly! Look at the time. How much time do we have?
I think it was supposed to be over 12:30.
Huh?
I think it was supposed to be over at 12:30. So we're kind of cutting.
Oh, we went over a little longer, but that's okay. I've got one. Yes.
Well, one last question. Earlier, you had discussed trying to put a Peter Cullen spin on the Optimus. Do you have maybe? Can you give us an example of that? What that might have sounded like had you done that?
He said, Peter Cullen would say, "We have come as protectors of the people of Earth, because they are too weak and too small to defend themselves. And a great evil comes from this." No, how does it go? "And a great evil comes from a faraway place, and we will protect them." And he'd have this, I wish I had the script in front of me. I can't do it. I'm just making it up as we go on. But he had that very solid place called Earth. I like that. I liked it. Like the opening of the movie. Hated the movie. Especially number 2.
Number 3 makes up for it.
It would say we will kill them all.
You mentioned earlier that you play the piano and such, that you make music. Do you make your own music too?
Sorry, what?
Do you make your own music too?
I make my own music, yes.
Have you thought about pursuing that as well?
I have a producer. We are putting the CD together. We've been writing songs like crazy, and my producer is in Europe right now. He's coming back in a couple of weeks, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to plan a CD and an album and get it up and sell. People seem to like it. I don't know. You like it, right?
Have you
it's
thought?
Okay.
Have you thought?
And people seem to really enjoy it. So I've had so many people saying, "Well, you've got to put the CD together," and the music people are saying, "Put the CD together." And I've got a lot of musician friends back who said, "Hey, I'll put my time in." So I said, "Okay." So we're gonna put it out this year.
Has that trickled in with your voice acting? Like you wanted to do both music and voice on a show?
Oh no, I've been doing music and voice for a long time.
But on the same.
But I haven't really pursued the commercial end of music for decades, because my film and voice stuff it just takes up all my time. And now I have a little bit more time, so I've been playing around with doing the music. I'm liking it,
It feels
liking it. You meet a whole lot of different people. That's some really, really wonderful singers and wonderful musicians. I just ran into a week before last Sam Neill. You know Sam Neill from the what's that, Jurassic Park? Well, his daughter Michael is Japanese Australian gal. She's a tremendous singer and songwriter, and she came out with us a couple of times to some venues to play. And my friend Don Alder, you met Don, and Don Alder came. He's like the best acoustic guitar player in the world. He's amazing. Look him up on YouTube. And he played a couple of tunes with her. Just fantastic. Just an amazing singer. And I find that the more different things that I do, the more different people that I meet. And it's a whole other world, the music world, you know, from acting and voicing. There's a lot of singers who do voices, but there's not a lot of musicians, right? And now I'm meeting a lot of musicians and playing with a lot of musicians and having a great time doing that. So I'll probably be done by this year. Anyway, I think I got time for one more question, and then it's time to rock and roll. Maybe I think we've got something else going on. Yes.
The gentleman before asked you about your career, like working with other voice actors and your experiences with them. I was wondering if you had any stories about Jaleel White, the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Jaleel, you know, I've got to tell you something. Never met him.
Okay.
Never met him. Never saw him. Only thing I know about Jaleel is that show.
Yes.
That TV show. Because he recorded, him and Tails recorded in Los Angeles. And everybody else recorded up in Vancouver. So we never really got to meet him or talk to him or anything. It was quite bizarre because I'd like to have met him because he's a totally different guy from what I've heard from the guys. It's a totally different guy from the guy you see on the TV. You wouldn't recognize him on the street. If you were talking to him, you wouldn't realize, are you Jaleel White? No. No. You kind of look like him. No, that's another guy.
Unless you walk around with a blue spike, you hear that big noise.
Huh?
Maybe you start walking around with a blue spike, you hear that big noise.
No, it didn't work. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much. More time, to ask some more questions, but I guess time marches on. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you later on this afternoon. All right, thank you so much for coming.